Bam, right there. How's it going, guys? Token Vaping. So today's review is actually on a newer device that I was able to acquire because I contributed to a video contest that Sigelei was having. So this was kind of like a runners-up type prize, so to speak. But I wanted to do a review on it just because it just is something a little different, I guess, to change up my juice reviews and everything else. But this is the Vcigo K2-T, and it says Fuchai, but as everybody knows, Fuchai is whether you want to say it's a brand of an associate line, a sister line, but it's basically under the Sigelei banner. And everybody if you recognize the name, you know they have the Fuchai, the 213, and a few other devices like that. But this is one under that banner name, and as you can tell, it definitely has a unique look to that. So we're gonna jump into this and do a quick look under the hood, so to speak, and see what's coming with that. So in the box, it's a kit, so it's going to be the device and the tank, and I'll give you a quick rundown on both. But you get a little card on the T3 tank that it comes with. Comes with one coil that is already pre-installed into the tank. I have been looking for other coils just to see how readily available they are. They're not all over the place as of yet. I will find out from Sigelei how quickly it'll be before they all hit the market. Warranty center card to let you know there are different warranty centers throughout the country, the world, basically, just depending on where you're located. Instructions for verifying the security code from Sigelei to make sure that it is an authentic item, and the user's manual. And then also in the box, basically, other than the device and the tank, you get, as you can see right here, there's the device, there's where the tank, you get a spare glass, which is the Pyrex, and then you have the USB charging cord, and also for firmware update. And then in the bag, you get a couple of O-rings and 2 color bands, and I'll show you those in a second. But that's about it. I mean, it's pretty basic as far as that goes, but they're not really concerned with all of that, so to speak. But the device itself is this right here. And yes, if you look, it has a lot of similarities to the Fuchai that most people know, but it does have a few little differences, and I will get into that here in a second. But that is the look of it. It does take 2 18650 batteries, which basically spring-loaded door as a standard on those. It does have a nice pressure on that, so once you close that, you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to pop open. You have your OLED screen here, up and down button. Now this is where it gets a little different. There are actually 2 fire buttons, and I'll explain those here in a second, but there's the standard one here on the side, and then this one up here is a fire button as well. And then you have your charge port. And then this band right here, this is literally the first I've really messed with this, but I haven't taken this off. But this band, as you can see, you can take off, and then the other 2 bands that came with the box, you can change it up if you want to, and they're all color matched to the device itself. So there's one that's a straight black, one that's a straight gray, and then this one has a kind of a difference in them just to give, you know, kind of an updated look to that. So that's basically the device, spring-loaded 510. This is 30 millimeters wide, so which is actually kind of nice because it will fit, you know, a little bit bigger tanks or RDAs that you're used to, without having the overhang. It is about 87 millimeters tall and about 44 millimeters this way, and that's pretty standard for the most part right there as it is. The tank itself comes with one coil here, and it's kind of hard with the metallic glare, but it's a 0.2 ohm, and the range is 60 to 100 watts. Best range is 70 to 80. Now this is where it gets a little confusing, just because from what I found on the website at sigelei.com, basically there's 3 types of coils that this will adapt to. One is a single bore, as you can see right there. A lot of cotton, and the wire just wraps in a tunnel, as a lot of standard bigger coils are. And then there's one that's a dual, and then there's one that's a triple, and there are 3 different ohm standard sizes for, you know, different wattages depending on what you vape at. But like I said, they're not available on the website that I was able to find just yet. I will find out when they are available, and I can put that in the comment box below. But it does have the Fuchai name on it. It does have a wide, if you can see right there, it has a pretty wide airflow ring. I've been letting this juice up right now so that I can fill this and do a vape demonstration on video for you. But basically it has your 510 pin, and as you can tell, it has almost nothing showing as standard with a lot of tanks. So do not, me personally, I would never put this on a mech mod. Not that you really should be putting tanks on there, but on some of them it does allow it if it has the cover pin that makes it look like that. If it's a straight battery connection, I myself would never do it. But it says T3 right there as well. And then the glass itself is basically just the standard glass. You have your large O-ring on the bottom, on top, and then your Delrin tip. So it's basically a Delrin plastic, the Pyrex glass, and then stainless steel makes that up. So like I said, I've been letting this pretty much sit and let it let the juice saturate the cotton. I'm gonna go ahead and get this put together, and then I'll fill it up and then do some vaping on it just to show you basically how it vapes. And then basically it's just screwing that on. Now, there is one con that I have with this right off the bat, and it's a lot of it's just due to the fact of how most tanks nowadays are in general. But in order to fill this, you basically have to screw the top off here. Now, there are still other tanks that are new, that are, you know, relatively new on the market that still do this as well. It's just a little hard if you're driving. Now, it does have quite a nice large size fill port hole. So, I mean, it's not really an issue of filling it. It's just a matter of having to completely separate the top on that. So for me, that's a con, but you know, everybody has personal preferences as far as whether or not they like it or they don't. But it's just something that, you know, nowadays with a lot of the tanks having like flip tops or slide opens and things like that, which Sigelei does have a few slide open tank styles as well. One thing I would like to note, though, if you do check out Sigelei for this device, there is another version that is a kit where it's this device here with an RDA on top, not the tank. So before, I don't want anybody to be confused if they order it and they're like, well, it didn't come with the tank. There is another version out there that kit-wise that has an RDA top with it. This maximum fill on this, according to the website, is about 2.8 mils. So it's not a huge tank. Again, if there's going to be expansion glass options, Sigelei will update that into their system and let it know. So we're going to go ahead and pop this on. Now, before I get into putting the tank on, just so I don't have a bunch of misfiring here. Now, the two fire buttons. You have one here, and obviously it says check atomizer, and as you can see, it is a bright colored LED screen. It does have all the standard readings on it that, you know, you would expect a Sigelei or a Fuchai to have. But if you click this, it's 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. And when you insert the batteries for the first time, it automatically turns the screen on. 3 clicks, and you go into, I don't know if you can really see it, it says fire button. And then the top one is the power TCR. So with the power TCR, if you press and hold the fire button to say yes, basically you have all your different power settings that you can do, and press and hold to confirm as well. And then you go back into here. If you go into fire button, and then you can do either the top one says fire button 1 or fire button 2. So depending on which one you want to do, you just press and hold to confirm. This one that I'm using here is fire button 1. This one is fire button 2. Now the top one, it says smoking. I really wish it didn't say that. I wish it would just say vaping. Mode menu, and then the bottom is useless. So basically, depending on which you want to do, you can have it as a dual fire button, so that when you press this button, it fires as well. If you push this button, it fires as well. Or you can have it to where it does nothing when you press it, for people who just don't really care that it's there. And then just use this as your fire button, your menu control, and everything else. I just set it just so you could see. This is your fire, obviously check atomizer. And then when you hit this button, it goes into the menu mode. And then you just press and hold confirm and goes back into it. So it makes it a little bit easier. However, when you're using it, you know, since you're not used to having it there, depending on how you want to hold it and fire on it, you know, if you accidentally hit it, it just gets a little bit, it just takes a little getting used to realize that there is a second fire button option there. This does run wattage mode, stainless steel, titanium, nichrome, and it has all the customizing boards that you can do to set it to your own customization, as far as, you know, the different wattage, the settings when you press the fire button, things like that, the user control. So it is nice to have that. You can factory reset this as well. It is in the menu, or it is in the user manual. Basically, it's just pressing and holding the down button when you put in the batteries, close it, let it go, turn it on, and it'll give you the option to factory reset. So if you do something and you're not sure how to get out of it or how to fix it, it is an option. You can charge through the USB ports. As always, I myself do not. I use a separate charger to charge my batteries, but it does have the option to do that as well. What else here? Wattage range, it will go all the way up to 230 watts, as low as 10 watts. Ohm range, it basically will go from a 0.05 to a 3.0 ohms. So that it does give you a nice wide range. Just want to prime the coil up a little bit. 35 amps is the maximum output, and voltage output is a 1 volt to a 7.5 volt. And it does have a bunch of protection options on it as well. It does, it should have it. For people that are worried about security and safety on it, it does have, where is it? It does have the temperature protection. It does have the voltage protection. It does have the atomizer protection, as well as a few other things in there too. So they tried to make this as safe as possible, so that you don't have to worry about having problems with it. And as you can see right there, that is a pretty large airflow hole. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of vapes on this. It's going to seem a little dry, or a little not as full flavored right away, because it is a brand new coil. But I am using my District 121 to do this testing for. I've done a review on that juice as well. You can definitely check that out on my YouTube channel. So this one here, I'm going to start it down a bit so that I don't end up burning out the coil right away or drying the cotton out too much. So I'm going to try to bring it down a bit. Oh, and as you can see there's a nice little thing. The tank lights up. Honestly, that kind of surprised me. So this lights up a red. They do have other color options as well. Okay, flavor is rock solid, and like I said, I've been letting the coil saturate up a bit, but the coil is rock solid, or the flavor is rock solid. Definitely what it's supposed to be at. It does have a bit of a throaty whistle though. Cloud production on it is really nice. I'm going to bump this up to 75. Still, tank's not getting warm at all. Not yet. Cloud production is definitely nice off this. I'm going to jump it to 85. Okay, so obviously with most, I mean, once you start going up higher in wattage, it's definitely going to start warming up the tank, and on the very, very tail end, you'll start to feel that tiny bit of a slight little burn hit. Not burn. I don't want it, that's misinforming. But you'll realize you've hit the end of that hit. So if you go too much further, you might end up with kind of a burnt taste. But overall, it hits the way it should. It plays. Pros, I mean, it is ergonomically wise, I mean, it doesn't feel superly uncomfortable. You know, it has a nice, it almost has like a nice matte rubber feel to that. The screen is really easy to read. Button configuration is not super hard. Like I said, if you've ever used a Sigelei or a Fuchai type device, you pretty much already have a leg up and you already kind of know how to operate it. Everything seems to read the right way. The voltage and the ohms and all that is pretty much on point. Has a battery power level here as well, so that's pretty good. I mean, it's a nice little device. It's not, I mean, it's not anything too super, you know, above and beyond what Sigelei and Fuchai are known for. The tank is pretty decent so far that I've seen. I mean, it's cute that it lights up. I mean, it's a nice little novelty. As to whether or not that affects the drain of the battery, I have yet to see. But con-wise, you know, really they're more on the tank itself. A 2.8 mil compared to a lot of tanks on the market nowadays that are 5 mils or higher, you know, it does seem like you will go through it a bit faster. Coils, you know, the coils, while different, you know, with the fact that they're not like all over the place to be able to find easily, could be a problem depending on, you know, how available that they are. Airflow is really nice. Especially if you want to tone it down a little bit, which I'll try right here. So that's about halfway. Definitely all flavor there, and that is a way to cut out that little whistle whine, which I guess would be a personal con for some people. I like a lot of airflow, so having that whine does get kind of annoying. But if it does bother you, like I just tried, if I turn it down about 3/4, you don't get it as much. Flavor is amazing off this thing. Cloud production is rock solid. The Delrin tip, I wish they did have another option for it, whether it was more of like a wide bore. And then the only other real con I have is just that you have to unscrew and completely remove the tip, the top tip part to fill it. Again, that's a personal thing. Other people may not have as much of a problem with that if they're used to it, you know, with other tanks that they use. But overall, you know, is it a have to have? If you're a fan of the line and the company, you know, obviously you may want to add it to your collection. If you're looking to get into vaping and, you know, it's like your first big device, big mod, it's not a bad one to start with. It's pretty simple to operate. It feels nice in the hand. The tank with the device makes a nice all-around overall kit. But definitely check it out if you want. It's on Sigelei.com. It's the Vcigo K2-T. Sorry, that's kind of a lot to say at once. But it does have the Fuchai name on it. Sigelei.com does sell it. You can find it on a bunch of other vaping websites as well, but definitely check that out. As always, guys, I'm Token Vaping. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest. Anything that I can do myself to help further enhance your vaping experience and make it more enjoyable for you, it's the only reason why I do this. So definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, a particular video that you'd like to see. I'll do everything in my power to make that happen. Until next time, thank you for the continued support and all the people that click that subscribe button and leave, you know, supporting comments and compliments, things like that. It means the world to me. Until next time, always truly love yourself. Vape on, vape strong. Have a good one, guys.